Digital storytelling is kind of a modern art form that involves personal narrative, an individual telling his or her own story through the digital medium, and it's usually in the form of a short movie, generally about 2 to 3 minutes long. The first step is composing a story. Often it's in response to a provided prompt or a theme, and the story will be about something that happened to the storyteller.
Once you can tap into what a student connects with, all bets are off. That's the whole point of digital storytelling, is that you start with yourself. What is your story?
And this is the hard part, but it's the essence, because the kids will sit there and they'll go, I don't know. I don't have anything I'm proud of.
I can remember one student, he was, are people going to see this? So the confidence level of the students and the trust level of the students, they were extremely nervous about sharing a personal story.
And that's where, as facilitators, we say, well, do you like sports? Do you like art? Are you a good student? Did you get a good grade on something? Are you a good brother? Are you a good sister? And the moment when the kid goes, oh yeah, then you know that's kind of where the story is. Tell me more about that.
So some students talked about their family, some students talked about their favorite activities or their favorite vacation that they took.
So there's that process of developing a story, and then we take them to, doing some writing. We'll write down, just in a nutshell, what was that story? And then we work them through creating the beginning, the middle, and the end of the story, constantly encouraging them to think about details and providing them, well, what did the place look like? Where was it? Who was there? What did that person say? How did you feel? What did you say? So there are all the ranges of characterization, setting, plot, all those story elements that we tease out of each other as we tell stories.
Now, some of the students may not be able to write, but many of them can draw. And once they draw it out, there's that connection with the brain when you start drawing out your story to now you're really connecting with your story, then they can tell their story.
And then the story is narrated into an iPad or a MacBook or Movie Maker or iMovie, some movie-making program. And then the storyteller will add visual images to complement the spoken story.
What we encourage them to have is their own personal photos. We want them to bring in photos that really reflect them and their story. They can manipulate the photos in different ways. They can add writings over it. They can add different colors. But any way that you can enhance and change the photos to make those photos your own, then that's what we encourage. Once they have the photos and their stories on there, now is the editing phase. Now they become editors. Now it's Hollywood, right?
The storyteller will then, edit the visual images or the video, maybe add a soundtrack, put in transitions from image to image, put in titles or words as needed.
It really is intuitive. If you can take a picture with your phone, you can use GarageBand, you can use iMovie, and you can teach other people how to do it. You can take an iMovie and make it real basic, or you can make it a lot more technical. There's so much you can do, so you're covering all the range of learners.
So in teaching digital storytelling, depending on the level of the classes or students we're working with, we make sure that we're breaking it down appropriately for their skill level, their age level, their maturity. In working with the students at the high school, knowing that we're working with the special ed students, of whom some are on the autism spectrum, I've been making sure to show them examples. So I started right out by saying, we're going to do something called digital storytelling. Here is a digital story.
They may think like, wow, how am I going to do this? This is kind of daunting. But then once we start breaking down the different layers and we break it down bit by bit by bit.
Once they understood the end product, and they saw other end products, it was like not a big deal.
I think it's important to bring experiences like this to students on the spectrum, partially because it broadens their experience, partially because a lot of what characterizes their differences, is just that they don't go about things the way that most people do. And sometimes the arts and creativity will give them a way in, or will give them something that they can hold on to that will really help them express themselves or help them find and mine a skill that they have that might not have been noticed otherwise.
It's just a great quick assessment. For 1 to 3 minutes, I'm able to assess where a kid's at. I could never get a kid to read their paper as many times as I watch them look at their movie. They just get totally consumed with it.
With the tool of digital storytelling, they're able to tell the story in their own way, in their own capacity. There is no right or wrong in telling your story. Therefore, it becomes this really liberating, this really empowering thing for them. You see so much confidence in creating that story and going through this whole process, seeing something that may have been so daunting to them, but now they have developed this inner confidence that I can do this and that this is me and that's my story.